already got me. I'm already not. I already care less than hell about Adam Copeland than I
Adam
did before.
Copeland has disappeared.
But I mean, I'll still watch whenever him and Christian have their match. Like, they were in this like 6-man tag match, but I guess they did a good job of like keeping them away from each other, like minimal interaction between the two.
There is
So that was like whatever. But
there is way too much going on in the world of wrestling that just seems ill timed for Edge or Adam Copeland. There's just way too much of cool going on that unfortunately
it's like, what you got to
he
do?
yeah.
He what?
Oh no, exactly what he did he
Yeah, it's like I mean, like it's understandable. Like I get it. Like with him, because like or even Sting before, like Sting has been there way longer than I thought he would have been or should have been. And now it's like it's almost like to me it's like if Sting is good, like what's Darby Allin gonna do without Sting? Like that's almost how big of an impact Sting has had. Like he's been there long enough to attach himself to Darby Allin. I don't know if Darby Allin is going to be able to survive without Sting. I'm sure he'll be fine, but I don't know. It's like with Adam Copeland and Christian, sure, okay, I understand it, but you got to do this quick before he can't wrestle anymore. Because this isn't like a freaking. I'm like I mean, but Edge feels like he can do it and be there long term. AEW's booking is so bad because like they just it's like when Will Ospreay signed and like they made that announcement, whatever, and he's just like he made sure like to make sure everybody knew that like he wasn't gonna be able to wrestle right away, you know, but he'll be there at the pay-per-view in March. And he's like, so in that time, TK, line up the best that you got. And it's like he's already had you wrestling for him for like the last 6 months and like these dream matches and stuff. So everyone that he's gonna line up for you, you've already fought and you've already won. So it's just gonna be a bunch of just it's just gonna be nothing. It's and I whatever, but make your money. Make your money, Osprey.
he will.
That's that's all.
This
And
is
then
the
it's like good for him because like he's only 30. He doesn't want to move to the U.S. He still wants to work for New Japan. He still wants to work for Impact, but he wants to get paid. So he's going to sign with AEW and still have that freedom. If he were to sign with WWE, you can't work for any other company. You most likely have to move to the U.S. like Gunther did. Look at Gunther now. Like he made that decision. I mean, he had to go through some shit with his divorce or whatever, but he still made that decision. And look at him now. And it's like there's yeah. Um, I don't know. There's this girl Julia from Japan. Her contract comes up in February, I believe. She's a Japanese Canadian wrestler over in Stardom, and she's had connections with like Io Sky and well more recently Kairi Sane, but she's a possibility that they're like super high interested in bringing her over, and then Okada has been mentioned as a possibility, and that's possible that why they were pushing Shinsuke to maybe try and reel in Okada to come to WWE, and I think that would be freaking. I mean, you get give Shinsuke that title, and you have Shinsuke and Okada at WrestleMania.
Hmm.
Like that's a freaking that'd be a freaking huge. It might not be as big amongst WWE, but
Why
it's
would it
almost
be
like I
huge?
don't know.
That's the question. By the way, I'm recording this before we get too far.
Oh, because
Uh,
Okada and Shinsuke, that's a history in itself
yeah.
as well.
So that there's a story built in
And
there. You
right, and
believe
if you
it,
could bring
obviously.
you bring someone like that, like you would never someone that's been so big in New Japan, that you don't see them coming to WWE like they're because like they don't WWE doesn't have the best relationship with you know the other international wrestling companies because there is that uh, there's a lot of fences around WWE that you can't. There's a lot less freedom of what you how you work and stuff like that. It's traveling and whatnot, and days you work, and so it's just a very it's very hard to, when you hear about these guys that are becoming free agents, like even like AJ Styles. Like I mean, but it was different because AJ Styles had already been established in the U.S., um, but not WWE. But like Jay White or Okada, even Kota Ibushi, who was actually in NXT's Cruiserweight Classic, but they didn't really. Well, he ended up getting hurt, so he lost the opportunity to. They didn't sign him because he ended up getting injured. But like that was a big deal to even have him in that tournament. Um, but like if you had a guy like Okada, and I'm like, I mean, I've watched Okada matches and stuff like that. But like, you bring a guy like if Triple H was able to bring someone like him over, like that's a huge like
Think so?
wrestling style change. Yeah, I think so. Like it would like I don't know how it would adjust over with or whatever, but I mean that would be a huge deal. Huge deal. I don't know if it would take. It would have to be like a co. It would have to be a co-main event. That may not. I don't think it would. If it would happen this year, I don't think it would take over as a main event. Um, a number one spot, but it would be a number two for sure. But I think that would be a huge deal to get a name like Okada to come to WWE. Like that's some like I guess it would be like a forbidden door. That's for yeah. That'd be like one of those like forbidden doors. Like that's just you don't see that at all.
Well, it's like I feel like AEW has a place, I guess. I didn't realize this. Or maybe I'm just being ridiculous.
Both.
Because that the Okada, AJ Styles, even Shinsuke, their style of wrestling is closer to what AEW puts on than it is what WWE puts on. Now, like on a name alone, Shinsuke has coasted for a long time. And obviously,
Right.
it was I guess it's big enough for people to really remember it. And him and Okada. Um, but so you have Okada and um, oh, what's his name? Kenny Omega as well.
Yeah, yeah.
They have a history, which is what made Kenny Omega. So I guess it is popular enough. I just feel like WWE would. I really am not the biggest fan of that type of wrestling. Like to me, AJ Styles, it was like put it like if he's in a good storyline, I'm watching it, you know. But just for the sake of like hearing that that's a good match, I sit there and go like, what is a good match? Like, what exactly is happening here? Because we're starting to kick and we're starting to hit each other in the fucking head. Uh, and I don't know. Once again, I keep bitching about the same thing. I feel like AEW has a place. AEW seems like that's the niche we were talking about. I assume. Like,
So what is,
do you know what I mean?
I
It's
do,
it's ja-
I do.
it's kind of like that Japanese style, that lucha style that
Right,
it is still like for me to tune in. Like even though like okay, so I would hear Okada, I would hear Shinsuke, I would hear AJ Styles and Okada. I could hear those things as like, wow, dude, this is fucking big in wrestling. I would watch a match, and I know that afterwards I would give a fuck about watching another one. Now,
right.
that might be wrong. Like I might be wrong there. I might really enjoy it, but just knowing what I like here as far as wrestling, if like I know that I would be interested in seeing whatever has been established already as far as like stories or feuds. That would be cool to see because it already has some bite to it, it has some meaning. It means something.
Right, right.
Um, as far as AEW though, because we started with Edge, with Adam Copeland, and I think AEW definitely has that niche, as far as, bringing Japanese wrestlers over and making that into.
Well, I mean, it's just constantly like dream match after dream match after dream match. Like that's all. Like that's AEW's focal point. It really seems. John Moxley, Daniel Bryan. Uh, we're just gonna we're just gonna keep feeding names throughout all these videos of all these guys that AEW brought over, and yeah, but it's like never before seen Edge versus Daniel Bryan, or no, we have seen that, but we haven't seen Adam Copeland versus Bryan Danielson. But it's just like it's just constantly just like, oh, this is going to be such a good match because we've never seen it before, and that's it. Like it's not like there's nothing beyond that. Like just because you've never seen it before, but like, there's no rhyme or reason that it's happening. No, he's just mixing, throwing shit together, and just let it go where it goes. Um, I just think like I don't know. I think I think right now like Triple H could be making some major splashes in the wrestling world and bringing in some, and it's like attraction, like names, feuds that we know are real and that they could come right away. Just like we could potentially start seeing like I mean maybe like one time deal like really like small deals made as far as like length. Like you're not gonna get like 5 year deals. You're just gonna get like a 1 year deal with somebody more often or something like that to have say like Okada come in for like a year and just like get your bang like just like I don't know. That's just something new that just popped in my head that we could potentially see. Just like this new age of wrestling. I don't know, but I think that that'd be really cool though.
Okay,
It's just
imagine.
because like
So you,
there's a lot more names that are like surfacing now of who's gonna be a free agent. Like we didn't know 5 years ago who was gonna be free agent. Like we don't like it's like free agency. Like that's a huge part of a sports world. Wrestling, professional wrestling is a sport. That's a sports world. It's like Major League Baseball. When there's a big time Japanese player that now there's a whole process of them being allowed to come over and negotiate with Major League Baseball teams. But when they do, like that's a big deal in baseball. The free agency, like it's a big deal. And then any other professional sports, free agency is a huge deal. Although those are a little bit different because they're all constructed under the same company, whereas professional wrestling, they're not. But they're all under the same, like, everybody knows. Like, it's just knowledge. And you can't deny facts and truths about things. Although they do it all the time because that's their job. But the fact is, if somebody becomes a free agent, and especially nowadays with social media and just like everybody knows everything that's going on, it's very hard to hide that thing, especially off TV. So when like you hear Triple H is interested in signing these potential free agents coming up, it gives you like hope or just something to look forward to. Like MJF's contract is coming up soon. Drew McIntyre's contract is coming up. MJF's contract is coming up, and these people, they're not the talent themselves aren't hiding it. Like MJF has like a countdown on his Instagram of like uh, 45 days or something, and it just says 45 days, and then off in the corner, a little bit faded, is a folder with the WWE logo on it, and just teasing and stuff like that. And it's just like it brings excitement. It's like Will Ospreay. Would it be really cool if he came to WWE? Sure. Do I think he's going to? No. Would I be really surprised if he did? Hell yeah. It's just a bunch of like emotions and stuff like that. It's just like, yeah,
yeah,
I don't know. It's just,
it'd be
but
cool. It would be cool. Like imagine you have like kind of the main event heavyweights. You have lucha. You have Japanese style. I mean, women,
what's the
Japanese
WWE?
women, all in
What's
WWE.
this?
That would be too much.
Well, what is WWE? What's it stand for?
World Wrestling Entertainment.
Yes,
Yeah.
emphasis on the first
Or
W, world,
okay. Well,
and
it
yeah.
would be. I feel
Like,
like
but like
it.
I completely understand like it'd
Yeah.
be too much because then also with the world, you still have to fit in wrestling, and then you also still have to fit in entertainment, and a lot of these styles don't. I mean, they all have their own almost separate identities of wrestling, their own separate identities of entertainment. Uh, WWE is a whole different ball game because there's a lot of talking and acting and making people believe, which making people believe that's a universal understanding is that you're making this as believable as possible. But like being able to talk on a microphone, doing promos and stuff like that. But to an extent, I mean, I don't know. It's just
It'd be cool. It would totally be
it's just
cool.
like
The fear
it was like this,
is,
just like this evolution that is happening. Hopefully, it can all work together.
well, that's why
And
AEW needs to be better. uh, because AEW, see, you're not just gonna win wrestling fans, which is very clear with, um, which is clear with the signing of Ric Flair. It's like, okay, you want to bring old school type of wrestling fans to see this so that they'll see it, but then they'll immediately be greeted with just one style of wrestling, basically. I mean, I guess Edge doesn't do that. Um,
he just catfishes people.
just catfishing people. Yeah, 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 basically. And nobody's staying, nobody's sending him any money to Nigeria. You know what I mean? So I feel like maybe he's trying. Maybe he's trying. Maybe that's what signing Edge meant. Maybe that's what having, Christian on the roster meant. But it's not like he needs more. And MGF certainly is not gonna fucking go and do kicks. So he just needs variety. I see we talk WWE as they like just
It's
as a
just
company.
it's just kind of
It,
funny because like Edge had his last match against Sheamus, and then he goes to AEW. Where Flair had his last match against Jeff Jarrett, and now he's in AEW. And it's just like the hell, like just everyone, like you're just bringing. It's just like you're just bringing like this. You're bringing this nostalgic part, and you like when I think of nostalgic wrestling now or wrestlers, you got to think AEW now. Like like I said, like AEW's Hall of Fame is going to be so identical to WWE's almost like I don't know. It's just funny to me. It's like it almost all goes back to the whole WCW and the whole comparisons of WCW and AEW. It's just so
yeah, good luck with it.
eerily like comparable. Like everything is just so comparable. It's crazy.
You mean with WCW?
And AEW, yeah.
Um, I don't know what's. I mean, maybe in look, or maybe what people want it to be, but AEW is. You mean because they're bringing old wrestlers?
It's like I mean, yeah, it's just like the relationship between Mexico, like Mexico and New Japan. WCW had that relationship. Then you're going even further with like TBS. They both are on TBS, which is like freaking. It's just funny because the
Uh-huh.
whole time that WCW wasn't on TBS, TBS didn't have any other wrestling until AEW came. Like um, people leaving WWE to go to, and then they end up going to AEW. Same thing happened with WCW. Um, I mean, like with them, it also comes back to that was also the days where there was that competition. So that factors into it. But
And all the wrestlers, weren't so old that they could still wrestle.
I mean, Bret Hart. Luger, Macho Man, Hogan. There's a lot of old guys that WWE was done with, and WCW just scooped them up because they knew that people would want to watch. And somehow, man, they battled with them because
Well,
of like it was like the new age people that
but Ric Flair can't wrestle anymore, man. Like I don't think anybody wants to see that. I purposely
no, but
didn't want to
he's
watch
already
Ric Flair's last match because fuck that. And I understand why he wants to do it. I get it. I just don't want to see it. And there's nothing like
yeah.
I still tuned in to see Ric Flair, and then the wrestling was once again here's this fucking kicks and flips and shit, and I'm out. I want to I desperately want AEW. I need AEW
I
to
do want to go back and watch the Swerve and Hangman Page match. I don't know if I fell asleep before that or whatever. I heard that was really good. Like it was a Texas death match, so there
I'll
like a
watch
lot of
it.
blood and stuff like that. But
Let's watch it. Let's watch it next week. We'll watch it together.
oh okay,
Let's watch that
okay,
next week,
I'll find a way to.
and we'll talk
All
about
right,
it. Well, you'll find a
okay,
way not to get blue
there we go.
balls until then.
No, I'll find a way so that we can watch it.
Ah,
It's AEW, so
got it.
you know you can't just go on and watch AEW stuff.
Yeah, that's probably part of the problem too. I didn't even think about that. I mean, I watch
Although I think
whatever
I don't know
is
when
on YouTube.
their stuff goes on to Max. I don't know when that starts.
Hopefully, it starts within 6 months, because then that's the only way I'll subscribe to it.
I don't even know. But that's the way to go for. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun 2024 for wrestling. At least it's setting up to be. Impact is gonna be, or TNA is gonna be back, and we'll see if that makes them a little bigger fish in the pond than they are. I do have to say they are very consistent. Impact and Impact is um they're just consistent. I don't watch anything, but from what I hear, because there are people that I do interact with that do watch it on a regular basis, and uh, they're just consistently pleased and putting out good stuff. So it would be nice to see if they can become a little bit bigger fish in the pond, and maybe that's like the pond where AEW should be swimming. But it's
I
hard
like
to
to
say
think,
that because of you look at their like you look at their
yeah.
roster on paper, and they should be like one of the top dogs, but they're not. And I think I think it's I think it's what's offered to them that WWE just can't and will never offer. Like that much freedom and stuff. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, you just keep it. They judge. Matt, so we've had interactions, and we've had jobbers we talked to that loved AEW, and it was like listening to, like you're an old man listening to young people and going like, "What the fuck? What do you like about music?" So I'm very
Right,
cognizant of the
right.
fact that I might be the old man in this fucking scenario, and that there is such thing as a banging match. Uh,
I I hate that term, man.
that
I
does,
do.
that
Because
doesn't
like
make any sense to me. Go ahead.
it's a banger. Like
It's a banger. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I
this
hear
the
that,
same
and
person mentioned how, oh, I heard, um oh, what it was, I don't know what it was, but he was like, I heard this so and so match was a banger. Oh, it was Alpha Academy versus Diamond Mine, the Brutus brothers, the Creed brothers.
mhm.
And they're like, oh yeah, I heard that was a banger. I'm like, I don't know what the definition of a banger is anymore. I know it used to mean like a really, 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 really good match. This was, I didn't think it was that good. Called a banger. Oh yeah, I just I can't use that word normally, and sometimes I do just because of the person that I'm talking to. It's like,
Well,
here,
we'll love our
I gotta
jobbers.
talk in
Let's
your
just
language.
make it clear. But yeah, it's the age difference is definitely showing. I still don't understand
Yeah.
what because it's not about like the way I see it is I used to do backyard wrestling when I was in high school. I find
All
myself
right,
like
yeah. So you should be
if
enjoying all this,
I should have, yeah, but I don't, because in high school
right?
I was too thick. He's a little bit of a
Yeah, you
British.
were.
Yeah, I was thick. I was fat with a P. No, I was thick in the brain, bro. I did not understand. Watching wrestling, it was just kind of like you're analyzing the match without understanding. It's like, oh, sure, you tell the story through the match, but if the story is not set up, you can still tell a story through the match. But it's not about the moves. It's not about high risk maneuvers. It's not how many fucking things you can go through and get up. I mean, sometimes it can be if the story calls for that, if that's how you want to tell it. But you better sure fucking sell the things that you're going through, because otherwise it's gonna look like you're just getting a fucking hit with heavy shit or drop from really high and getting right back up, which it sells nothing, shows nothing. It just looks fucking like we're just all pretending here, you know. But we used to. I mean, I can't speak for anyone else. I'll speak for myself. I was so dumb because I would just, and I'm not saying that people are dumb. Okay, well, let's rephrase that because now it's going into dumb. I didn't understand that moves didn't make the match. You know, like you still needed to tell me something through it with it. It wasn't all just like, let's do a whole bunch of fucking high risk maneuvers. But that's what we
What a
did.
maneuver!
One maneuver?
What a what a maneuver!
Dude, sorry, I was still talking. I didn't
Don't
hear
worry
that.
about it.
I heard maneuver.
Yeah, I'm
I was
sorry.
like,
It's
what?
okay.
So what did we watch? We watched Eddie Guerrero versus Brock Lesnar last week or 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
And that match
yes.
was David and Goliath. Okay. Were there some high risk maneuvers? Absolutely. You know, but if they just wrestled where, we had just move after move after move with no coherent underlying story, it would just be a boring match. It's like, okay, so what it just okay, so Eddie Guerrero hit Brock Lesnar in the face and Brock Lesnar got right back up. Or, vice versa. Well, why is Brock Lesnar kicking Eddie Guerrero in the face? And then why is Guerrero getting back up? If Brock Lesnar kicks you, you ain't getting back up. Shit like that. I didn't understand that there was an underlying story to tell as a coherent thing. So it felt like what we were doing then was very much how I hear fans of specifically AEW speak about matches, and even how Dave Meltzer grades this shit. It like we graded toilet paper rolls, but we graded not just the match itself, we graded based on how, like, the story itself, like how things were put together. Like there's no way for me to grade a match just based on maneuvers. And that's literally what we used to do when we were kids. And when I hear that, I'm like, I felt like I was too stupid to see the underlying story and things back then because I was taken in by the moves. But now I'm realizing that, like, when I hear that, I don't think that, like, I don't think the kids are stupid for saying that, or somebody younger is stupid for saying that. I feel like I'm getting too old uh, 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 to understand that. But I'm also hearing that kind of naive part of myself when I was younger going like, "Oh, dude, did you see that fucking spear off the top rope or some shit? Or through the spear off the ladder? Did you see that fucking shit? That was sick."
Oh,
Like, it's sick
that
once.
was a banger.
Yeah, but if you do three more spears from the top rope during that match, or you do other shit from the top of the ladder, all of a sudden that like every move that you do, the high risk maneuver, it's like an exclamation point in the middle of a sentence. Like you don't just fucking scream continuously. But there are fans for that.
Right.
There are obviously fans for that. It's just you're not gonna get the scope of I guess what it takes to run a company and that size from that sort of a niche, you know? And so that's what I hear. I just hear that kind of like, dude, you see that? Oh, dude, the way they link this shit together. Like, look at all these things. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But what the fuck else is happening? Why? And maybe I'm asking too much. Maybe like I could just be just as dumb.
You're still thick.
I can't help it. I am thick, bro. I'm dumb. I really feel
You're
dumb
not on
because
thickness.
I yeah, thickness. I don't want to dismiss these fans just because I don't like the style. I am trying hard to
Right.
understand what the fuck it is, and all I see is how I used to view wrestling when I was a teenager, you know? I probably would have thought that a lot of
Right.
AEW shit was cool when I was a teenager,
Probably.
you know? So,
Probably. But now that
there you go.
you're smarter and wiser,
It might be
you
the other way around, older and dumber.
not yet.
I really
Not
I
yet.
feel that, bro. I feel that this is like this turn from Edge and AEW to an existential fucking clip
To
about.
therapy, like
I mean, I don't know. Like, what else is my opinion worth? What else is my opinion worth? If I mean, basically nothing. But at the same time, like, this is what I see. This is how I feel about it, and I can't see Ric Flair and Edge in there and expect. It's just like
right. Yeah.
it's too much of a
Yeah.
a, a, a dichotomy of opposites. 'Cause that's even a thing. It's too much of two opposite things together that my brain just goes, oh, I can't.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you're right. Like when you mentioned earlier, with like lucha, Japanese, all these different styles, you're like, that's too much for WWE. That's exactly what AEW has done. because they
Yes.
mix too much.
Yes, but there's a
And now
there's a
you're adding
reason.
in now you're adding in Flair, where you hear Flair's music and you see Ric Flair, you feel there's a certain like environment that comes along with him.
Yeah.
And like right now, it's kind of like you expect like a bunch of wheelchairs, but now you're just getting ninjas jumping all over the place, and he's just standing there as everything's just flying around him. He can't focus on one thing because he's hammered, and he just gets dizzy and falls.
When Ric Flair climbs on a 20-foot ladder and delivers
Yeah,
does a leg drop or does an elbow drop on barbed wire uh table with with the explosives or whatever fireworks rigged underneath it. Ah, dude, I'm in. I will send him. I will personally send him a $100. Like, I'll just make a donation. I don't want any merch. I'll just make a donation. I'll send some money.
I don't want it.
Just listening to Tony Khan going, I don't want anybody in the back to feel like they're in an unsafe work environment or something like along those lines. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah,
He doesn't want anybody to feel
not
fucking
even
unsafe. I'm like, did you see the fucking barbed wire match between Kenny
right.
Omega and
Yeah, do you see what you see what? Well, I mean, and God, all the shit that they do to Darby Allen. Like, oh man,
yes. I don't know how safe Darby Allen
did that?
feels. I don't
Well,
feel
yeah,
safe for him.
he's. I mean, he's out there anyways, but still,
Oh,
and
I
it's
mean,
like
all the props
the
to
day
him,
after.
dude.
Oh
All
yeah,
the
but
props to him.
then like the day after he was he he flew over and started begin training on climbing Mount Everest. Like, damn,
Dude's a
did it.
badass. It's like
So it's like,
it's
yes,
a stunt show. There you go. It's a stunt show.
yeah, yeah. Well,
It's a stunt show.
and that's the other thing that AEW is like proud about too, is like all their ability to blade and have blood everywhere. It's just stupidness. I just don't get it. And
Yeah.
it's just so random. Like nothing ever makes sense, and that's the problem with AEW. It's just so random. There's no structure. There's just it's a oh man. One guy said it perfectly. WWE and AEW. I forgot what he was saying about the people that run the companies.
Best
And
about
he's just
business.
like
It's WWE is about what's best for
pretty
business, and
much,
AEW.
pretty much. That was pretty much it. I just can't remember the exact same words, but yeah, it's just like because like Triple H has control, Tony Khan has no control. It's just like
Well,
you know, Punk.
it's like stories. You know, I, I'm trying not to make this long because I like as soon as I start thinking, I'm like, well, let me. Oh, Jesus, Max is gonna keep talking here. It's like imagine
It's
writing a
okay.
screenplay, and you have two types of so you have somebody. So you have my teenager me, or more equivalent to an AW fan the way I see it, is writing the screenplay, and you have somebody who writes stories actually write a screenplay, and it's a scene where there's a woman on the side of the road, and not because she's a woman, her tire is busted, she needs help, And now we'll all call AAA at this fucking point. But let's just say that a well-meaning gentleman pulls over to help, and they start talking. Okay, while he's changing the tire, the AW fan is gonna be like, "Listen, baby, you have nice tits. Let's go on a date." It's gonna be dialogue. It's just gonna be straight what he wants, and maybe I don't have nice tits, but it's just gonna be a straight. Dude, it's hard to make you laugh. God damn. It's just gonna be a straight dialogue. It's gonna be like, "Hey, so you want to go on a date? Um, my name is so so." It's just gonna be straight lines, not even imply a single thing. And then you listen to a screenwriter or somebody who writes stories, and they'll be talking like he'll be talking about uh, um, changing the tire, or do you have, is there another spare hanging around? In other words, it will be implied. There will be an implied meaning that the audience themselves are going to go underneath and be like, oh, so he's kind of sort of, in a sense, asking, do you have somebody else? But he's talking about tires, and she says, no, I don't. And then they go, like, while they're changing the tire, he's talking about, uh, why certain tires, like in the winter, it explodes because of this, but it's still implied underneath. Is implied, like he's trying to kind of figure out, if she wants to go for a date. There's an implied meaning. And I think that's what kind of matches are. There's like an implied meaning. There's an underneath that's holding all of that. It's not just this explicit, everybody saying exactly what they think constantly. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's an implied meaning underneath. And that's what it feels like. It feels like AW is just like, move, 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 move. And it's just this dialogue that is straight, just in your face, doesn't even let you even try to figure out what the fuck is going on. Versus a good story, you're seeing that, you're seeing the underneath story, you're seeing David and Goliath. You're seeing brothers fight. And that's kind of like what it feels like. I'm
I remember
obviously
I was like,
not intelligent enough to explain this. So, what the fuck?
well, it might not be. It's not your fault. I promise.
Yeah, that's what my mom says too, yeah.
But it's like, what was it? It was MJF. Oh, MJF versus Jay White, and I'm like, Jay White. Like, I thought he was just feuding with this person, and like, it's like in a span of like 3 months, he had like huge feuds with like 5 different people. Like, then that's how short these like big feuds were. It was just like week to week almost, and I'm like, that's just stupid. Like, you don't build up anything, and you're just putting things together just so you can have a once in a lifetime match. This match has never happened. So they have like so many tournaments and just I just hope TKO. Obviously, if AAA, if they're entrusting so much and they don't have like, they're not really putting any like influence on how to like what they want them to do with the product, then I guess they don't have to pay attention. But as long as they pay attention to what AEW is doing, and it is just not working. Like, don't follow their footsteps. Like, but hopefully, when some of these people's contracts come up, then they can come over to WWE. And uh,
Oh,
that's just, man. We're going on like 3 years now. But AEW just doesn't know what they're doing
that
to
that's
us,
that's
in our opinions.
absolutely. And seeing the Ric Flair thing was kind of like, okay, well, are we, it's like, look at what WWE went through in this span. When
Yeah,
we started, look at what we went through. We went through Vince McMahon, like it was getting to the point of cluelessness and this caricature like fake. And I don't mean like wrestling's fake. I mean this you couldn't believe anybody. They were just that everybody was kind of hamstrung by how things were run in WWE, and it was just like how I mean at one point in time WWE, there was a saying that if you go from NXT to WWE, you'll get ruined. Like, how are they going to ruin this person? How are they going to ruin Keith Lee? You know, how are they going to ruin whoever came from? Who, if you went to the main roster, you were ruined to
yeah,
for years. You know, to the pandemic, and there was no adaptation. There was very little adaptation, and then all of a sudden, you know, Vince McMahon sex scandal. Triple H jumps in. Wait, what the fuck's going on? All of a sudden, yeah. Hey, wait a minute. They're doing things a little differently, you know? And then Vince McMahon comes back. People pissed. Vince McMahon's out. Okay, Triple H's in. Oh shit, things are getting really good. Meanwhile, it's the same fucking story in AW. Tony Khan signs somebody who's
right.
fucking 10,000 years old. They don't even wrestle. They talk, and it would just keep signing all these people that just fall out of WWE, and generally, you know, it's like there was a reason, and you want all of them. I want Cesaro to be better, all those, but it's the same. It's like we're at the same distance between those
Yeah,
two
yeah, that's
companies,
true.
and AEW has learned
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah, that's true.
And don't tell me
Well,
you're
yeah, like
signing.
we always like,
You know how Tony
go ahead.
Khan said he was signing the best wrestler in the world.
Right, right,
Well, I mean, are you that fucking clueless? Really? Because
that's fine.
there's two different sellings, you know, types of selling. There's a selling where you're trying to fucking sell me something that you know is no good, and that there's something you're selling to me that you know is good. And there's a big fucking difference because you don't have to fool me
Right,
about a product that's good. I don't have to have
right,
incredible sales techniques selling you food. I mean, it's a competition, but there's a big difference. Like if I sell you a Twinkie saying that this is the best thing, you know, it's like American Diabetes Association, American Heart Association say if you eat Twinkies a fucking day, you're gonna live forever. You know, that's kind of like what
okay.
he's doing with Ric Flair and whatever Osprey. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, don't lie to me. Don't fucking lie to me. You are not signing the best
it's like
wrestler.
all these, it's like all these announcements that he like, and it's just like everyone just knows it's gonna be stupid, or by the time that it comes to the announcement being made, everything's already been like he's like Tony Khan's already like said what's gonna happen. Like pretty much have already like he's leaked out his own information so that people already know. And that's just like the information isn't this big announcement is nothing. And it's just like you're just like ultimate clickbait, like catfishing, like the whole
Yes.
Will Osprey thing. Like I understand it, but it's like it could have been such a better way done about it. But he felt that I guess it came out that he felt like he was being pushed back up into a corner, and he felt the need to like make this announcement sooner or like or whenever he did. The
Was he by
announcement
any
that he
chance?
made last month.
Who was he
What's up?
talking about? Who was he talking about when he said he was signing the best wrestler?
That was Will Osprey.
Will Osprey. Okay. So
Yeah,
he
and
would have been more.
that's legit because I like him. I like
uh,
Will Ospreay.
There's nothing wrong with that, but
I don't know if he would fit.
I don't know if you could say with all the wrestlers wrestling today. I mean, I guess it's debatable ultimately, but it certainly tells you it's like we're not trying to compete with WWE because we're trying to do what WWE is not
What do you
doing.
think?
But at the same time, we're over here on Twitter or X saying all these competitions and bitching about it. I'm like, well, maybe he's got us. He's got me then. Maybe that's how he gets attention because we're talking about it. But I sure as fucking
Because like
watching it.
people complain about, like I love to hear people complain. Like people that watch AW,
Mm.
I love to hear them complain about it so much. It just like it brings so much warmth to my heart to hear them complain about But then at the same time, it's like when they complain about WWE and it's something like I'm not complaining about, but they complain about it. I get a little defensive, but whatever. But it's like
I
last month or whatever, Tony Khan made the announcement that they were going back to Wembley Stadium. And it's like, why you? And then like the next week they make an announcement about or like whatever this new tournament that they got going on, this Continental Championship tournament, and they're like, you could have just used that as that big announcement instead of announcing Wembley. Like the tickets for Wembley don't even go on sale for another 8 months. Why are you? Why are you like? Are you that desperate to like push for sales? Like you're not. I mean, 8 months from now, it's not gonna make any difference that you're telling us now that they're going back to Wembley in 11 months. Like, just I don't know. It's just. But yeah, but I guess he just like he feels like all this pressure that he's being pushed up into a corner, and he just like he feels like this is like his way of like getting his claws out, and but all of a sudden, and then CM Punk comes out in WWE, and that's it. Like that's just freaking. I could. A lot of things could change. People that were thought to be maybe signing with AEW, maybe they're not. Maybe they'll
write
come to
it down.
WWE now.
Write this down, bro. Are you ready?
Huh?
Write this down.
Oh, okay. Yes. What am I writing?
W WWE is about what's best for business. AEW is about what's best for Tony Khan.
This is one of our testaments, a commandment.
Yeah, we'll put that on the shirt.
Well,
And I
yeah.
want
There we go.
I think both of us, the reason we keep looking at we try AEW despite we keep kind of coming back and just checking it out. Okay, look, maybe today. I think we both want
Maybe
there to be an alternative.
something will make me clap.
Yeah, CM
That's what I
Punk.
want. Maybe AEW make me clap. You know, like it was like when Punk made his debut in AEW. I didn't give a crap. I think it's just like when he came
I
back to
thought it was cool.
WWE. Yeah, like it was. I just wasn't because I wasn't like I said. Like I was just not. I'm not that big of a Punk fan. Like he didn't have that much of an impact on me. I think it's because a large portion of the end of his career in WWE, a lot of that time I wasn't as invested into wrestling, so I wasn't as involved in the story or whatever the hell was going on. So I just wasn't. I'm not. I wasn't as infected by him leaving as a lot of people were. So but this time around, because I have gone through the last 4 years, 3.5 years of Punk, and to have him show up in WB, like, oh yeah, like that's cool. Like anything that we can just gut punch Tony Khan, I will take.
That was yeah, dude. I agree. And not I wouldn't necessarily go with the gut punch of Tony Khan, but I would certainly go into what a missed opportunity and god damn it. Like you have a chance here to be this tool, like that no offense like to Tony Khan, like really like I don't know him personally. The way he comes off is like this kind of like spoiled little nerd that
Yes.
that is aggravating to a lot of people, but it's aggravating to me not necessarily because he comes off as that, but because it's not used at all. It's like he's really that tool.
Right.
And you're like, no,
Right.
no, 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 use this. Be the tool. Dude, if I was running a company, this is very easy to say. I understand. I'm a fucking fan. Don't listen to a lot of shit I say because it's probably not good. If I were to be in those shoes, I would position myself in the role of I would try to, surround myself with people who the best writer I can get. Couple of good writers I can get. And I'm not talking like I'm talking writers, I'm talking screenwriters. I'm talking people that might have had some stuff like not necessarily comedians, like you can get a bunch of different ones, but you get too many cooks in the kitchen. Couple of decent screenwriters that he likes. Like somebody who may understand a little bit more about story than just listening to wrestlers, because that's all it seems like. Um, and that's not to say that there are not wrestlers out there that know how to tell stories. There are, but at the same time, if I were portrayed in the light of this nerd, this clueless nerd, I would drive this motherfucker. Like I wouldn't give a fuck. Like I don't give a fuck if you in the locker room, if Young Bucks are fucking upset at CM Punk. I don't give a fuck if Kenny Omega's upset at CM Punk. Obviously, I want to make sure that these people can work together. But we all know that the wrestling locker room there's been so much worse. There's probably even attempted murders in wrestling locker rooms in WWE. And there was always a way to find, you could find a way to figure this out. Okay. Granted, today you can't get through as much legal stuff, but still, like CM Punk. Listen, Young Bucks, you guys got to figure out what the fuck the beef is here. And if there's beef, you go sit over there. You go sit over there. I don't give a fuck. I still have a company to run. I have to get eyes on this product. I have to get repeat customers on this product. I have to sell shit on this product. So if you two are gonna fucking bicker like little bitches, let's put it in the ring. You know, let's do it. But what I would do, since if it was beef between me and Punk and it's out, I'm not letting Punk go. I'm like, bring it, bitch. Fucking beat me the fuck up. I would go out there and just let CM Punk beat the shit out of me. And granted, he won't because you still have to fucking do this, you know? But it would be a fucking story. It would be real. It's like, holy shit. I mean, well, what's going on? Is CM Punk is actually going to go in the ring with Tony Khan. Tony Khan is going in the ring, but what I would do is I would make myself that fucking coward. So what I would do is I would get I would get Young Bucks in there to fucking help me. You see what I'm doing there? It's like all this stories, everything that's being fucking said that people are clicking on and trying to figure out what's really going on. Is this for real? Oh shit, it is. Fuck. I would try to use that. I'm like, bring it on. I would be that fucking spoiled little brat and I would hire people to protect me from CM Punk, and I would make CM Punk's life a living hell. And all that he and the wrestling fans would want to see is him finally getting his fucking grubby ass, or his, well, my hands would be grubby, but he getting his hands on my grubby ass, okay, and beating the shit out of me. And I would just milk it, milk it, milk it, and then we'll pop that. We'll fucking have that. We'll just have that. Boom. We'll have that explosion at like a pay-per-view or something, you know? But instead, I just get what the fucking lawyer said, and CM Punk is fired. It's like, really? Really? That's the best you can do? In a wrestling thing where people are trying to kill each other? In AW is trying to kill each other. Have you watched AW? I think there's a lot more attempted murders in AW than there are in WWE.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
So, bro, I was going rants and then I'm like, I'd regret it. I'm like, what the fuck? What am I saying?
Because then you feel like you just been in like a 10 round fight.
Jeez. Yeah. I'm done though. I'm done. I've had enough.
Oh, you're funny.
Uh, there's a big difference when you're laughing at me. I,
Well, you said
I
you were
once,
trying to make you said it was hard to make you laugh.
yeah, it is when I'm trying to be funny. I was like, it doesn't matter if you're funny or if people laugh at you or you're funny, so long as they're laughing. And then I was like, I don't know. I think it might matter. Anyway, I guess as long as I can hear you laugh, I'm happy.
Yeah, I mean, I was muted earlier when you said that, so you couldn't hear me.
I think 99% of my shit is literally just that shit. Every once in a while, there's a little nugget in there, and that's about it. But hey, I live for the Nuggets, so which I think they just beat the Spurs tonight.
Jokic have another triple double.
We still don't have Murray.
No, but you have Jokic.
Yeah, Murray's been out, man. He's been out.
Huh?
Murray's been out.
Yeah, he might be back next week though.
I'm glad they're letting him fully recover, bro. You can see they need Murray to. Whew. Anyway, um, JAWBERS.com, Jawbers. Get yourself a T-shirt. Support us. I'm Max Shaw, and this has been Mr. Big D.
Indeed,
And
it has.
AW be better.
Love you. Bye.